Ah, baby. Ciao. What? Shh. I hope I'm on a public cast. That was the premise. Oh, maybe I've left it unlisted like a chimp. Tube, speak to me. My fist to your fist. My fist to your fist. Where's the scribes? David. Oh, David, what have you done, you peanut? It's just me. Oh, let me see. Oh, it is public. Hello, welcome. I'm happy to see you. Couldn't let this opportunity pass me by. I couldn't let it pass me by. It's official. We're going to let the room fill up. We'll let the notifications. Blessings be, G-Man. First comment. How we doing? Top of the evening to you all. I appreciate. Let me just sort this chair out. There's a lot going off at the minute, so we've had in the news that someone's been a very naughty boy, and he's only gone and told stories about the royal family and what or may not have actually happened, but we have first-hand testimony about the monarchy furthermore. So I couldn't let this day pass me by with all the writings and the, this is a time for Indiglo and SPLS Pro to say, did you hear that? Was everybody listening? Did we make a note of that point where the family properly ostracized for this one? Him and his wife there, and the comments. I'd like to hear your feedback. So we're going to take an opportunity to hammer this home, that we're not being anti-monarchy. We're not being, somebody that thinks they don't have to be compelled to, obey the law. When we speak of law, we tell you that there are many layers of law leading up to Abrahamic. Abrahamic should be the only one. Universal, natural, positive, negative, statutory, admiralty, maritime, ecclesia, trust. There are many laws. So, the monarchy and the laws that they may or may not believe that they have to follow. Have we lost confidence? Have we lost faith? Have we lost all logical referencing? Because I too am finding it hard to keep a narrative, but my work, my immersion in the work and the objectives that we have to set help me steam through this. And when my shell likes hear multiple sources worldwide, realm-wide, saying that the cat is out the bag, and the royal prince to be has been to chat in America and let out some secrets. I don't think there's anybody that hasn't taken some scatterings from this interview in America. I think you know what I'm on about. And so Meghan and the outlay and with the prince, lest we forget that it was Diana that came out and said, I think I might be in danger, everyone. And it was on a national newspaper, and the Princess of England came out and said, I think my life's in danger. And then she ended up not being with us shortly after, coming out publicly and saying, I'm worried, I think they're after me. And then she is no more. So with the authorings, writings, penmanship that I perform when I've got that pen, I get on that boat and I am the pen man of the ship. If ever there was a pen man of penmans, scribes, I call us privately scribes. I would say comparably we are scribes, and going back to way back in day of. So the penmanship in me wants to call out that throughout history we've brought to you unimaginable, untold, the greatest lie never told, the truth never told, horrendous, occurrences, heinous crimes and things as such as, and you would think, oh no, surely not, the middle class, it would never be true, it could never be, you lot are just all conspiracy theorists. But it's gone from conspiracy theory to conspiracy facts, and we've been fact checked. And so I need to take opportunity number one and say tomorrow, the 9th of March, I'm going to set a Zoom up, and you're going to get a public invite to that. And I will be going and having a broadcast with you on Tube as well. So there'll be interaction live here, and you will be hearing the interaction and the chat with the Zoom. If you want to come on both channels, networks, you can do. And then we will take your points of view. What is concerning you right now? The lunacy, the breaking of international law, the force of law, the rule of law. If you've got any questions or comments, we're going to feedback. We're going to have an interactive, affair, engagement, and it'll be several hours. So I want to go out fishing. I want to see, on behalf of mankind's consciousness, concerns in general. This is weighing deep. This goes deep. This will not be like Matt Hancock and the contracts and such other international embargoes, which we'll not get into. Mossack Fonseca style. Too many claims. Do we, in fact, now need to seize this opportunity to carry out our notices with full sovereignty and go for full self-governing, full privacy, a move, a call, a moment to not get violent, not do what we've done before and shown, what we think. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind, and I'm going to get boots on the ground, and we're going to go and we're going to have it large. No, we're not doing that. We're going to, those of you that wish to express, we don't need insurances. No, not that we don't want to get a vehicle or anything insured. We have assurances from ourselves. We have assurances from our knowledge, and inwardly manifest, outwardly attract. We assurances from the Creator is what you and I have. Most of us on this video will have. Insurances is when you don't believe in the safety of yourself, your divine governance, your self-ability, traveling in a horsey, driving commercially. You are governing, and you do well 99.9% of the time. And we have assurances through ourselves, number one, and through our knowledge and gnosis, what was religion and faith. We'd like to express a day or an afternoon tomorrow of interaction, chats, and your concerns. Any lawful matter will be able to be looked at, and we'll have a chat with ourselves. The kickback out of this, the reactions. I need to catch up and see what damage has been done here. I will reference that back to the monologue going from 1302 onwards, from Eterni Regis, Convocation, Unum Sanctum, and such popes all the way up, the chain of command through to the Jesuits, the monarchies, the bankers, London City in itself. We're coming for London City in one way or another. London City ought to be paying us rent, to be on this landmass, Britain, and to be taking up, think of it like this, taking up land rent, area, space, commerce, the wharf, Canary, and they are making millions, billions, millions by the second, billions by the hour, and trillions by the year. Half, knowledge out there, and, half truths and whole lies is what has led us astray. But this London City makes a lot of revenue in the billions, trillions, and it's on our land, and it's basically the root of all evil. It's not part of Britain, it's not the United Kingdom, it's not England and Wales. The Queen has to ask for permission to go into London City. Fact, it has its own police, has its own postcode. It's not part of this landmass. They are foreign agents on this land. That's where you need to focus attentions, number one. Number two, the monarchy, Buckinghamshire, the world wars. The first place an enemy would want to bomb is its command centre, HQ. And you look at the tactical places that was bombed in the wars, Second World War particularly. Why wasn't Buckingham or anywhere around there flattened to the ground? It just beggars belief what's gone off. And tomorrow we'd like to spend some time with you. I will, the trust will. Maybe I'll pick Kevin up if you're lucky, and we'll have a little get together, and we'll talk about and get the topics, and we'll express our proofs. Now, when you say something and it's a fact, it's not slander, it's not defamation of character, it's not liable. All right, so it's not often in time you get a chance to go off with the mainstream narrative and echo that back into the areas that we will echo it back into. This monarchy has allowed, since the shrinkage of the Commonwealth and countries getting their independence back. Think about how the monarchies had to make money. Look at the timely manner of such things. The Commonwealth, the British Empire, going and getting its riches and resources, and how they went about and got that. Queen Elizabeth, QE2, Queensland, New England, New York, in America, Wall Street, Bond Street, Wall Street, as in the Wailing Wall, New York, York, England, York Rite, the Masonic Rite, York in the north of England, the Scottish Rite, and you have New York, the connections to all of this monarchy. Who owns who? The papacy. And what the papacy is, you've heard of the paparazzi, the sea of paper rats. That paper certification, birth, whole debacle is going to get laid out simply for you. Instances of, we have sayings and languages and quick go-to sayings now, as we're changing a lot of the areas and how we speak and why we speak, as you've noticed. Your date of birth, well, that's a date of birth. Birth could also mean without. Bank of England, bank without England. When you look at it in certain other languages, commercial languages, legalese languages, and other than Oxford and Collins. So birth date of, that tells you they're asking for not your birthday. Man has a birthday. Okay, we all have a birthday, to be simple and it ease. All right, it's a born day, a soul journey day. But just bear with me. We have a birthday. You all have a birthday, but you don't have a date of birth. A date of birth. Listen to the words and see how they put stuff in plain sight. And you think, oh, it's just normal. It's just the way they speak because they're a business, or that's the government. No, it's the way that it is because it has to be that way, because it's a formality. So we look at simplifying your data self and you, liabilities, property, claims, money, debts, charges, what is right, what is illegal, legal practices, breaking the law. You can't be in a legal area and use rules to break the law to try and implement legal measurement without expecting some kind of kickback, holding to account. So I think now is the time. I would like to share this video, introduce Brother David from the sovereigns of sovereignty for this landmass, the new Republic of Brighton, not Britain, but Briton, Brit on the land. I like the sound of that. And we need to move forward with how to show you where your rights are, number one, and then how to act and execute in the private, from a general legal person to a private. It's not general, you see, general public, legal person, general public, to the major private, lawful, flesh, blood, human, etc. You think this would all be prima facie standard evidence that you are here and all is well, but again, there are certain constructs within those areas of laws that you need to navigate through and bust through and break on through to the other side. Simply and effectively, we use their systems rules when we find out that they're trying to enforce, they're trying to break the law by using policy and rules. Policy and rules can't be used to break the law. You can stop them by trying to go with their legal ways and with lawful estoppels and simple, graceful, honourable, non-vexatious. They're not threats either. So we will take a day tomorrow afternoon, starting from 1 p.m.ish on the 9th of March. And I'll do it on behalf of, and I'll put my big, feet where my mouth is. I'll put my money where my mouth is, in the name of love, light, charity, charitable purposes. Those that seek equity must do equity, to give back to some of you, to interact, to have a chat with, to take questions with, legal issues with the police and the civil enforcement areas, and victims. What is a victim? What is a crime? what is a statute, why is a statute mandated legally upon your person by default out of Westminster, and unless you opt out, it won't be ending well. If you can't show them that you're not a legal person and you're something else, and you don't know how to hold them to these rules and separate your date of birth from a birthday and certain other bits. Their rules, not ours. Their rules are, for want of an exact reference, if you don't know who you are and you don't know you have any rights, then you have no rights. Now, that's a legal commercial maxim summarization. So their game is in their courts. If you don't know who you are and you don't know what your rights are, then they're not going to tell you, and you have none. Now, that's not fair play. Even if I or Kevin was first thing in the morning and you got to us and we wasn't, we're not known for morning personalities and how we feel. If you get to us, even at the worst of our times, we will always respect the fact that you have rights. You are due respect and honour, and everybody is given, respect. Trust is earned to some extent, but it's the way things are. But if someone was to say to you, you're going to do business with me, and if you don't know what my rules are and what my settings are, then that's not my problem, and I'm going to now turn from your friend to your oppressor. And then the second part is, if you don't know where your rights are and what rights to call in what area of law, or you generally have the same rights at all times, unalienable, given by the Creator, bestowed upon you at the point of your entry from mum and being crowned, being brought into this realm. So with all of the usufructs and the droits and the subjugation and subrogation and the assumption and the presumption of the courts and the legal maxims and the mandated code coming out of Westminster, basically through common law into the society, and then us trying to fumble through everything as the public legal person and not being able to articulate our ways through this. We have an answer for just about everything because we use all of the areas of law to navigate through, and there are lower areas and higher areas. The maxims of their own game are things like that. So if you don't know you have any rights and you don't know who you are, they're going to obliterate you and pepper spray you with legal attacks, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can hire a solicitor and you can hire a barrister and an attorney, but the thing is, they're in a thing called the Law Society. The judge is in a thing called the Law Society. The officer, the trooper, are in a thing called the Law Society. So you are going to hire someone from a club who's on that side of the game when you're on this side with the defence, and you need to then articulate. So think about that. In every court case, two parties go in with legal representation, and one will win and one will lose. So having legal representation from their club doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win, and definitely it's a 50-50 chance. So you become the litigant in person and you make a presentation and you do it through paperwork, and it will precede you, and you use their pre-action protocols and their breaches of that, and then you play upon their assumption that you don't know who you are and you don't know what your rights are. And then through the paperwork and getting them into default and going up to the point of the first battle in a de facto lower court, county magistrate district scenario, and then having that to holding them to account with the procedural rules that should be in play, and pointing out the failures and defaults and the things like that. Well, it's not really a complicated situation. I've used too many words when I could have used less. So we get you to come in on the Zoom tomorrow, or on the text on the screen, and tomorrow afternoon from about 1 p.m. we will have a chat and a get together. We will see how you're feeling, what the claims are recently, and we're going to show you where your rights are, and so you know you have them, and you know who you are, and then that their maxims can be busted through with the ways that we've shown you, and the correction of the trusts. And the trust correction is not complex either, and we'll explain that tomorrow. So you'll have a full few hours, 2 to 3 hours with me, possibly with Kevin. I haven't confirmed that, okay, but if he can, he will, I'm sure, take the opportunity to come in and show his bonny face. And we're not going to give legal advice, and we're not going to fix the world, but what we are going to do is have a jolly good laugh, We're going to have a good old knees up, okay? Because we're British and we've got a stiff upper lip. And we're going to make a jolly good sing-song out of it all. And, we're going to put our stiff upper lips on. You have a premiere tonight where I interview Brother Robert from the observation deck, down on the deck of the observation. Brother Robert, legend, brilliant man that mainly we've heard the voice of, not seen too much interaction on the screen side of it with the camera. So I managed to, at the moment, there is in between times of room availability. And I've interviewed Robert from the spare room in the broom cupboard of Indiglo, if you like, and I think we had a good time, good feedback from that video. It's been premiered through the channel that has the support option, so the supporters of this channel have had a 4 or 5 day premiere, and then the supporters via the .com have had a link shared with them. So tonight, 9 p.m, Brother Robert from the observation deck and I'm interviewing him, taking him from presenting, and I wanted to get inside, get deep and see, what do you know? What's the reckon? What's the thing, kid? And we got on all right. It was a good little chat. A revealer. He's an articulate, clever little, I don't know if little is the word, big brother. And some scoops were had. Got some information that he gave to I before he gave to his channel. So there has been a 5-6 day delay since we had the chat to it going live tonight. So enjoy that. And towards the end, there are a couple of scoops. But we need to show you love. I need to show you, the public, that it's not about arrogance, attitude, wanting to trick you and get you so far, and then after you get you in the private to get you behind the paywall. The paywall is 12 credits per annum. It works out at 25 pence a week. And everybody that has been to see I in the private of SPLs has said, isn't it lovely? It's a few glitches, but other than that, what do you expect? It's very nice, and there's a lot in here. So we try to look out for the clean hands doctrine, Anubis, weighing the heart, answering to St. Peter outside the pearly gates. However which way you want to cut it, we have to show you. I have to balance, and I'm aware of that. And there isn't always one enough time to the capabilities, technicalities, and etc. And 3, doing it for the sake of it and doing it because you can accomplish something. The 2 different things. So I do cherish the position and the ability to press a button and talk to you, interact. You give me your time, you pay with your attention, and we expressly get something. I've used you as my guinea pigs in many ways, practicing and trying to become a better, calm, brother, informant, messenger, sage, and working out how to harness that anger and how to move it into energy. Mental conditions have been talked about today by the revelations, states of health, suicide from the prince's wife, a future princess of England possibly, and harrowing topics that we just let wash over us. Paedophilic claims, scandals of Jimmy Savile's intervention with the royalties, how many disconcerting shadowy type figures this monarchy has had. The fact that there's agreements here in play, we're ignorant to a lot of it, and the works and publications that SPLs and I and you have done, and others that have helped me over the years, are going to come into play. So you've got a new publication to pick up for free via Facebook Trust, and you can get it from the .com library. The last document uploaded was version 1 of part 2 of A Proclamation of Sovereignty Explained, which has got some useful tidbits in. It's American and English mix, because we can actually stem across to the constitutional side of the family across the pond and look at citations of troopers giving penal offences, codes, infractions. It runs on the same premise: who owns who does what, where the money goes. Federal reserves, Congress, government, Parliament, House of Lords. It's been interesting. So when you get these documents, you have to appreciate we try to cater for, and we give them a mixture of information now, whereas before it was all strictly must be English. You know, we've got Canada, the Commonwealth in general, Australia, Americas, and certain other sovereign type territories, non-sovereign territories, and Commonwealth. You know, when the Commonwealth was starting to gain independence and the Queen started to lose revenue from countries like India and, you know, horrendous occupations that we've done and committed upon people in the name of the empire. Back in the day, there was a saying that the sun never sets on the British Empire. And the sun never sets on the British Empire because they had a piece of land, allegedly all around, you know, or all across the realm, and whichever you are, or you know, position or hollow earth, inside, outside, they had the sun never set. Oh man, and because somewhere England owned a piece, you know, of territory, foreign territory, and just looking at the occupation of the Americas and the Australias and killing the indigenes, not the aborigines or the origines, you know, the original souls, man, flesh, triparts, corporeal matter that inhabited them lands we came and took. You know, these countries, others, have gained independence from our occupation, apartheid, South Africa, and so the Commonwealth, the Queen needed revenue for herself, and I suppose losing hand over fist through countries getting their independence meant that she had to gain some revenue somewhere else. And around the 1900s, a great load of crazy things happened and were said to have been done in 1800s. Brilliance happened, and such names as Tesla, you know, floated around. Nikolai, Serbian genius, and technocratic institutions and ways and writings and proposals were set up, and we look at the creation of and the way property was managed, and property itself, and titles and deeds and rights, Bibles in houses, you know, acting as when historical things happen, births, deaths and marriages happen locally, marriage in the parish, you know, and the woman acting as QE2, then creating a deal of some kind and creating furthermore trusts, breaking stuff up, making United Kingdoms, you know, from Anglo and Anglo-Saxon, Normandy type, you know, and William the Conqueror days, and even from before, but 1066 is a good 1,000 years of lineage. And you look what's happened on these land masses in 1,000 years, and before, you know, and the French and the invasions and the Vikings, and she had this present occupancy, separate from those in London that are also occupying. So we've got the Queen and the monarchy occupying. Question is, do we really want them? Do we really need them? And do they have a right to be here after what's been exposed about them? Should they be ejected, rejected and ejected? Then we need to look at the Crown of London. So there's two crowns to focus on, and we'd like to look at London Crown and the Crown of Ma'am. And she's got to be aware through the various acts, duties and ignorance of the law is no excuse, ma'am, may we point out. Ignorance of the Bible is no excuse, even if that is a Bible of which is demonic in nature. You know, she's been privy, knowledgeable to the equitable estate of which English man, woman, authentic, you know, should get. Worth your weight in gold business talk. So between the church, the papacy, the monarchy, and London bankers and their clearing banks and their foreign offshore sitters trusts, they've been usurping and taking and subjugating and messing around in their triangles of trusts and constructions of unconscionable actions, and they've just basically bled us all dry, saying that ignorance of the law is no excuse and forgive them for they do not know, you know, and the devil is running around and wearing Prada. Okay, the devil doesn't come wearing red fire and horns and going, hello, I'm Beelzebub and I'm coming to make your life hell. No, he comes to you in a way of which you cannot refuse a deal often find yourself less well off. I've used a lot of scriptures recently, a lot of referencing from certain paragraphs to make you think about, birthdays, date of births, simple thing there. Or as a clue, anybody who says, what's your date of birth? Hold up. What? Okay. So you, oh, you want my person's details? Well, I'll give you my person's details. Any kickback from them? Are you legally trained? No. Well, then moving on. Legally qualified, legally trained, two different things. I didn't say legally qualified. I said, are you legally trained? That's just the basic, to be in the legal profession, an officer, you would expect that you'd be legally trained. I didn't say legally qualified, but legally qualified would be even better to enforce legalities, of which you talk of. It's madness, craziness, demons, devils around everywhere, but you don't think about it like that. Not that we're here to have a go into, but it does help being a hermeticist, bringing you in, magnetising, and the secret, being moral, doing moral things, following the moral code, makes moral goodness happen in your life. Testing times initially for you to get that kickback and reward. So we're going to help people tomorrow. Come along, share this and show them, like I say, what we do, who we are, how we think, what the logic is, what our proof is, why we don't use Magna Carta, and why we don't big up common law for defence of private assets, because that just won't do, and why we don't kick anybody while they're down, why we have to respect and love everybody, operate a certain way, and balance the scales, show you how to P-ray properly, and it comes back into some kind of holy loop, and we get you breaking from that, thinking you have everything normal and doing a loop and an eternal cycle leading to bad information, causing you to make bad decisions in your life. And it's not that you're a victim of anything initially, but you are able to break it for a time that corrupted information and put some good in there and get you to make good decisions and break those loops and chains. Mental health, suicide, like I say, been mentioned too much. People are getting away with things too much in a high capacity, in too many volumes. It's just become, if you didn't need, me to tell you, or reasons for, there's a big old list that I'm sure would be on the screen of reasons why not to trust government, monarchies, bankers and churches. Okay, so the basic moral upstanding of outside has crumbled. Banking has been shown to be a fraud, the BCCI and the Mossack Fonseca and other such things, and Panama Papers and exposure after exposure. The monarchy, as well as the financial system, and the churches, and so there isn't really much anything out there, and there's a chaos brewing, like the primordial soup of man. Now I see a primordial soup of before the never time, if you hear what I'm saying, and with IQs dropping sharply, anger levels raising massively, massive obfuscations happening on this landmass, theft, and that we can prove breaches of law. And they're trying to use rules and policy to break law and ignore your rights. So we'll show you where your rights live. We'll show you how to prove that you have those rights and to keep calm, to never fight again, to never lose the plot, to never probably swear even, and to control everything, to keep clean hands, keep in honour. And when you're being oppressed and when you're being threatened, these are some of the most challenging things you'll find it hard to do. To be polite and courteous to somebody who is trying to steal and trespass upon you. And that's why it's so very powerful in these books here, biblical and from antiquities. If you look at the Enuma Elish, the story of creation before Christianity, from Sumer, and the Book of the Kings, they've stolen stuff. They've done it very badly. They've lied to us. The Christian disclosure is coming out through the exposure of law, because they are in a house and they are in a little setup. There are pyramids in pyramids in pyramids, like the Russian doll. Think of it as a what's the word now? That hypercube, a hypermid. You're going into the hyper pyramid where it would be infinite pyramids in infinite ways. Everything would be made up, a whole realm, world constructed inside pyramids, using pyramid shapes only. That's where you've got to go. It's not as complicated as that, but it does go when you look at what has happened and how it's been let to happen. Disgusting. All right, so there's good minds out there, there's good information, there's good technologies, but sometimes we forget the basics, and often before the litigation, we must ensure of mitigation. But before the mitigation, you can employ the rights to silence and shut the duck up. Okay, what do we say? We say, shut up Friday, and there was no need to volunteer, so we be quiet. We don't volunteer anything, and we've got good reason for that. You have the right to remain silent. I plead the Fifth Amendment, either or, to a certain extent, after your Miranda rights or your caution over here in the east side. And you would utilise that. What is the scenario when a client rings the solicitor or barrister, whatever, attorney, and says, hello, the police are here, they want to take me, what should I do? They're asking me questions about things that are quite personal. Should I answer them? It's brief. Solicitor will say, under no uncertain terms and circumstances should I advise you to cooperate with them until I arrive. All right, keep stum. I will be there in an hour. Give me the details. Job's good. And then that's how it happens. So it's not even a sovereign thing or a free man thing or an abuse of. There are codifications within the Bible about certain things and names and how God remembered all of the labelings, identities, callings, names effectively of, and the Bible references there again. So you use a great many areas, but litigation, before that must be the mitigation, before that proof of claim. Proof of claims. If you shut up, nothing you say can be used against you in evidence, in a court of law. So why couldn't it be used in your defence? Because we're your friends and we're here to help. So anything you do say can be taken down in evidence and used for your defence. It's a bit like the plead there. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? Do you plead bad, nasty idiot, fool? Or do you plead, I didn't know I was a bad, nasty idiot, fool, but I am a bad, nasty idiot, fool, criminal, guilty? When in fact you're not, and there is no victim. And it's again, tort law. How they do this is inflictions with tort. So it, again, is these areas of law with no respect of tort law. Look into TORT law and look at what tort is. It comes from torture, and every day you will go out and you will crucify yourself. We have to pick up that cross every day, I'm afraid, and we still have to in 2021, after the 21st of December 2021, where I thought, as much as the next man, great things and was going to be maybe kind of somehow a little bit of a boost, wouldn't have gone amiss, but instead something else happened, and we had a sonic boom of the consciousnesses. So again, it's where we're at and what we have to do now with the levels of in this day and age. I believe the devil does run things. That's why it is as crazy as it is. I believe that the devil is written down offering Jesus the 9 realms. Jesus said, can't take them 9 realms off you, brother. What? He didn't say, them 9 realms, they meant yours to give. He didn't say they're not yours. He said, I don't want them. So the rebirth, the crucifixion, the King James Bible, the Apocryphas, the old text, the new text, we've got a lot we can chat about and broaden horizons with, even with Quran, and like I said, Prophet Muhammad, Allah, and the Abrahamic, even the Rastafari, and the one that I always get wrong, Ethiopian Bible, and King Haile Selassie I. Many things to bring us all together in this crazy time. The Bible, the biblification of that, heliocentric one, that story that's focused on the sun being reborn, much tying into Egypt, tying into, the chats we've had, the minds that we've met, the proof that we've gained, the monarchy now coming out as being racist, the police force being proven as institutionally racist, all right, the government being proven liars, cheats, and breakers of international code. There's never been more of a time for me to take advantage and say, tomorrow we are going to have a crack with you regarding certain topics and issues and fundamental principles of which, as a landmass family clan, we need to say that's not, we're not washing, you can't, we're not giving you consent for anything furthermore, because I will choose to self-govern. You've made, you know, too many mistakes, too much blood has been spilled, with all due respect, you've had a lot of chances, and it's not going well. The proof is an insurmountable mounting, and the negative, the counter is very tiny. You know, the conspiracy aspect of it has shrunk, and the evidence is mountainous. So without being vexatious and angry, we're going to put the feelers out there, give some time back to you, like I say, possibly with Kevin and myself, take questions. I will utilise some free time, and we'll also look, like I say, at mental health, legal issues, stories, news reports, facts of the matter, your right to a reply. When you communicate and you held to account and nobody replies, how to enforce that, and how to use these pre-action protocols, how you can get somebody in default position, and then you can say to them, failing to act now with you in this default position means that we're in, you know, estoppel. There are no fines, fees, levy, forfeits can be taken, nothing action wise can be done. You're in dishonour, and companies still yet choose to proceed with fine, fees, levies, and etc. And it's getting that bad. In-house management of tribunals, and tribunals being denied and being passed back to a private corporation, that known over here on this landmass of Britain as the Department for Work and Pensions, and they're getting instructed by non-active tribunal denials. You know, they're not giving the right for a tribunal. They're saying, oh, John, you need to fix this. Okay, we're passing it back, pay it. And that's what happens. There is no tribunal, but in the international law, you have a right to face, away from the arbitrators and the decision makers. The 1% rise for the health sector shows you how cold and bitter they are. They don't give a rat's ass about anybody but those bankers in London. All right, then you've got the monarchy. Those two crowns look after themselves. You are the third crown. We are the third crown. You are the kings, the queens, the princesses, the princes that you have there, which is where the focus and the love must be. If we carry on with that, we will continue with good fortune. There'll be opportunities to donate, to us if you find anything useful, if we help you out, if we offer assurance, if we can try and save one life each in the next, year. You will see what happens and what enrichment, there'll be a lot of call. I think there's a calling, for man to act. I don't think it's doom and gloom and end in any way, shape or form, but I think, as always, there is a balance. You can't take away the evil. It has to exist, otherwise there wouldn't be good. You can't take away love. You can't take away hate. They're on Hegelian dialects and scales, and intrinsically, universally, and fundamentally, they have to exist at the same time. It's one of them things. The devil's system, though, that rules these realms is over. We've got answers, and we've got friends. Brother Robert and I and others will be doing further works with you, working out how to go live, take live questions. We've just had a result. We've gotten rid of criminals uttering to have papers, of law, which they didn't. They didn't have warrants. They didn't have the right ability, the right permissions. They didn't know in the wrong jurisdiction, and torts were committed, and we held them to account, and they ran away. So it is strong. It does work. We have witnesses. It's true, and we need you to come and play attention tomorrow afternoon. That would be the 9th of March, and we'll have a proper good shindig, and I'll have Zoom on, get the speaker so you can hear. You won't see them. It'll all be a public get together, and I want to test a great many areas and show you how we do business and give something back. I'm trying to start late in the afternoon, so then it gives somebody who's coming back tea time chance to get in, but I don't want to go on too long. I want to give people chance to get in, and with Kevin here as well, Zoom and Tube, I think we'll need at least 3 hours. That'll ding dang do. Me tiny mince pies. You're all blurred to me now. I can't see. It's amazing. What's to the eyesight? I want to give a shout out to who's chatting, what you're saying, and then as always, we're getting off. Start the long goodbye now. I'm starting from the bottom, as is tradition. I know I should start from the top. I like to do it this way. Gansders, thank you. 8:30. Indians. Starting at 2 p.m, 1 p.m, 2 p.m. To a crown. Yes, you see that crown upside down. Level playing field. Remonstrations, I like it. Remonstrations, not demonstrations, but remonstrations. Gansders, thank you for that little pointy outie there. As we all know, words, they're tiny, but they're powerful. Remonstrat ion. Have a look at that. Why have we got repeal, repel, not appeal. Insurance, we have assurance. It's a spiritual, religious, hermetical, loving thing. Do the miracles ourselves. Yeah, you are miracle workers. You have to save yourself. There isn't nobody coming from the clouds to fix man's problems. There are chemtrails over the fucking country club, okay? Chemtrails over the country club. What? Eyeball enhancers. Distinguished. Thank you, Chin Mickey Finn. And the, can you see? I've boshed it. Aye. Our feudal masters never went away. That's right. Our racist feudal masters, it seems. Andy. Jerry. Anthony. I'll give you an invite to the Zoom. So what you'll get is a Zoom via the community pages. A post. I'll put a Zoom link into Trust and I'll put it onto the .com. So it'll be in 3 places: on the update community page for Indy, and the Facebook and the private. All right. Finn loves it in Sweden. It's sweet as, Errol. Sweet as. It's only been once, but once was enough. I can see the grin on Finn's face. We had a giant named Finn that holds up the church here in Sweden. Shush, it's not all about you, Gansders. All right, we're British, you know. Keep your Toblerones. GJ. All right. Yeah. G-Star, what? Been on the page, it says login for downloads. Yes, it's all private. Did they trick us with the word include? Yes, follow Alphonse on Telegram. Very simply put, very like our David here. Thank you, Anthony. Oh, no wonder you got a Mothman in America, the demon with red eyes running around the place. Look at the landmass. Look at the blood that's been spilt there. Hello, Craig and Williams in the house. And the Americans, before the Americans, there was the Indians. Before the Indians, there was definitely other, before the Hopi tribes and everything else. And then you got this this thing that's allegedly going about scaring folk, doing mad, crazy things called the Mothman. And just like, and I thought, well, considering what's happened on them lands over all those eons of time, yeah, it's a big old landmass. Seen some shit. Time we're on 6:30. I've got to go. Time is gone. Hello, meow meow to Black Cat. Jay. Watched it yesterday. Very good interview. Oh, very good. Yes. Thank you. What? It's like old times, isn't it? Snafu. As I say it. And then there we go. What? How are we doing? You still on your travels, lad? Yes, fam. He's one of the older indie scribes. Yes, when I say that, he's been with the channel a long time. I'm not saying you're old, lad. I'm saying that you've been here a while. I remember you one of the early ones to come and listen to me when I was angry. Right, Jesus Snafu, Frank MC, Divine Sovereign Decree. Proofs of evidence, life, and essence will do for me, and how you prove your sovereignty. D and Cree. All right, Cree and Creed. Creed is Creed. Got two words there, a D and a Cree. Now look at that, Frank MC. Between you and me, your divine sovereign decree. Yeah, you are D what? Divine and decree. Dehumidifier. Take out. All right. So if you're decreeing, you're out of the creed. You know, you're D and you're out in dehumidifier, take out of the water from the air, D, you know, decipher, decrypt, many D examples. I won't go diddy, da, 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 dee, all through them now. Divine without the vine, you know, and interesting words. Be careful which words you use. Maybe you want to look at your quantum side of it with the modifiers, adjectives, pronouns, and that kind of area is interesting. And once you've gone in there, though, you don't see words the same again. A lot of people still silly fumble for thinking it's not important. Yeah. Institutionally racist police force, been proven. Institutionally racist monarchy, been proven. Institutionally racist. So if they're racist, what else could they be? You know, when they're sat there going, the peasants and what. Oh, no, they don't do that. No, honestly, they're very good fellows. They've got hearts. They really care about the country and the economy. You know, I won't have a bad word said about them. And really, they are quite, you know, there's been cameras off, live. Hot mic. We got a hot mic. I'd like to meet Hot Mike one day, but thank you to Hot Mike for all that you have brought to this family, and what we've heard them slagging off and saying when they didn't know that the mic was on. So, yeah, you don't need to be certified sovereign. You don't need to be you know, declaring and exactly. Anything else? We're all good then. It's not our fault. We didn't make it this way. It was burning since the earth was turning. We didn't start fire. It weren't me. Proper weren't me. It might have been Kevin. Celtic and Gaelic. No, we've gone on to Irish and Scots even. Yes, Purnell. What? British means Scottish, though. Stop trying to confuse things, JJ. British means British. Scottish means Scottish. You're on about a British Scottish. A Briscotti. A Briscotti. Sco British. Hadrian's Wall, weren't that an absolutely miraculous effort of all of the things and the megalithic sites and the blocks of Lebanon and around the realm, and then we have even the Great Wall of China to Hadrian's Wall, 3 foot, 2.5 foot high, and you can step over it. Hilarious. Hadrian's Wall, marvelous, curious, pointless. See you later, Anthony. Your battery's going. Yeah, so that's it. We're going to see you tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to be here and you're going to be there, and we're going to chat about such things as, you know, these state of affairs that we have seen upon us recently, and the great crimes upon man, breaches of international law. So if ever you needed anything on anybody, right now is the time to collect all that, scoop all that good stuff up, and reiterate it and point out things of which we have been concerned about for some time, but didn't really want to bang the jungle drums. But now it's all come out in the wash via Oprah, an American chat show, and the princess to be, the prince, and what's gone on. Ostracized isn't the word. You know, everything's a business and a corporation to some extent, and bless them. You know, if Diana did go out in the ways that we suspect that she did, then these lot are ruthless. plus David Icke's claims against them. And that's not even talking about the Crown of London. They're even worse than the monarch, the claims onto the monarch. So we have pure evil in one respect, masquerading as holier than thou. Then we have the Crown of London purporting to be, oh yes, we work for Elizabeth, we're the Crown, you know, we're all as one, everyone's happy, everybody does what they're told, don't they? Yes, yes, and the bonds keep flowing. So this is real life. This is how it is, you know. You've got the papacy overseeing all of that. Enough is enough to some extent, and evidence is rife. Useful little bits of tidbits of information, you know, that you can help you on the way. And if we all help one person or try to help, you know, one another, that's how shit changes. If you keep it to yourself and don't let it get out the group, and you know, have other such access methods of which are unreachable, then nothing's ever going to change, is it? So we need a unified, uniform, unilateral, you know, discloser situation where we start disclosing a bit more. On the observation deck and I's chat tonight in about 3 hours, and Robert discloses quite a lot of inside stuff about him. It was all cooped up, waiting to come out. I didn't have to tease a lot. I did have to kind of control it a bit and get him back to, and just go, come on, I'm interviewing here, lad. He got wound up. He did. So I'm happy to have done that. You'll see I wasn't in the office, but I was just chilling down to close up. Even, you know, I was sat on the floor and I was on beanbags, the camera in front of me, and I got up close and personal, literally in face like. I was privileged and honoured to get a little bit of insight about the man, the mind, the makeup, what he thinks, how he thinks. You know, I've mentioned, I bigged him up some years ago, a year and a half ago, something like that. I think his channel was a few years old, and I've given him a shout out to you because of his humour, his candour, how he puts certain things, you know, his style of voice, his narration onto, you know, the accompanying whatever it was narrative on the screen there, animation. So yeah, we'll see what can be done. We've had a lot of positivity, good feedback from you. You know, we're not perfect, can't please everybody. I'm going to waffle less, and we're going to do more positive things and put money where mouth is, and evidences and claims and proofs, you know. And as I heard today, I thought this is the final straw. How much more news can I hear, you know, and claims of sovereignty? Okay, it's not a very sovereign thing to do that, is it, really? You know, when we talk about sovereignty. So, you know, it's not a big thing to some. It's a big thing to others. It's going to be massive. And with the current manoeuvres going off, is it by design? Is it so it all, funnily enough, falls into place at the same time? We go online, we have the Skynet turned on, the monarchy crumbles, the collapse of the Catholicism and the respect for it, the lineages of money, mechanics itself, you know, changes, and we all switch to, you know, the new little wireless. Oh, I can just see it all as if by magic, encompassing all of those paradigms, you know, transferring over within a week. Yes, now we're on the quantum finance system. Okay, everyone, that's quantum finance system, QFS. Quantum finance system, anybody? What? Yes, turn your chip on, it's all there. Well, that's what NESARA GESARA is, why you've got confused a little bit with this NESARA GESARA. I say confused, I'm firmly, you know, what's been said. They're not loving people and they don't want to let go of the money, all right? So you can keep praying for that. You're lying to yourself. And you can enjoy the video tonight from 9:30 GMT. Myself, Brother David, Brother Robert. Some exclusives were scooped. I've been sat down too long, I need to stretch. Enjoy them. And we need an office. We need resources. We need help. Instead of always coming out asking and begging, we'll actually offer something as well. And then we can encourage donations if need be. That would be nice. And if we help anybody or give information of which is useful. No legal advice, no advice of any kind. Mental health and lawful dressings are going to be applied. Cognitive behavioural therapy. This Bum, and thank you very much. Ciao for now.